In this video, I will teach you how to draw marble sculpture in charcoal pencils. Welcome back, everyone. For those of you that are here for the first time, my name is Julieta. I am an international portrait artist, originally from Argentina, living in the United States. And in today's video, I will teach you step by step how to draw a sculpture into charcoal pencils to do the type of rendition. This is going to be a sculpture made by Michelangelo from the Lorenzo de' Medici's tomb. And I will explain you more about it once we're in it, but I will teach you step by step how to do a realistic looking drawing of something with this type of texture. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to another tutorial video. Today we're going to go over how I did this portrait right here that you could see, which is a fragment of Michelangelo's sculpture for the Medici tomb. And as you can see right now, these lines that I marked on the face is like the map that I always do when I draw any face, using the middle line, the horizontal lines to indicate the different axes of the face. And if you're interested in learning more about that, just write it in the comments down below that I would love to do that for you. I erased those lines to move ahead with the portrait itself. And I'm showing you right now some charcoal powder that I created with a charcoal stick. And here we have our Monozero eraser. We have also a flat brush, and we're going to apply some of that. I'm going to take some of that charcoal powder. Here, as you can see, I applied the brush freshly with powder right on the folding. With a uniform layer, except for the areas that you know that are going to be the darkest because they have the sharpest angles or they're deeper within the face, just like so, like we're doing right now in the eyes. And remember that this is a sculpture, so it's a different feel altogether than regular human portraits. So it's like the texture is going to be different, the way the light is going to reflect is going to be different. So those are things we're going to keep looking at. Now I move on with the charcoal pencil. In this case, I'm using Generals. I'm going to add the description down below. I find these to be super cool as far as quality, very smooth, very soft texture. It's kind of velvety, it's really good. This one is medium, just basically because I ran out of the soft ones, but they have the best texture I have been able to find in any charcoal pencils. So I am kind of like going into details right now for features. Not too much, but just enough to help me trace the foundation of the face and the main lines that I will work on as we move on. And as you can see, in those situations where I actually do make thick lines or dark lines, is in the areas where we know that we're going to have the darkest values. Now we go back to our charcoal powder once we laid that to have a better idea of where things are going to be at, and we keep laying a uniform again layer of charcoal powder in a uniform fashion as far as like the hue and the intensity. We don't really worry about how exact we are at this point. Just make sure you follow the reference picture, and obviously you don't want to shade the parts that are going to be lightest, which are going to be the parts that are going to be closest to our light sources, but we'll move on to that as we keep going with this tutorial. And now we're going to start smoking out some of those thick lines that we did. So now guys, we are going to keep going, moving on to further detail. We're going to go to darks. In this case, I am working on the top part of her head, the rug that she's wearing. And as you can see, I already applied a little bit of white charcoal on her upper eyelids, lower eyelids, and the nose. I just put that there just to get a feel of what it's going to start looking like, and we'll do it in further detail. But now I want you to see the progress and steps that I follow. See, now I'm applying the Monozero eraser, and that's why this is starting to look more 3D, but we're still not going into like super minute details. But you can start to see that now it's not as flat as it was before. Why? Because we applied more darks, which means that we apply way more contrast, and we're going to build on that contrast by applying further black layers of charcoal. And here, this thing that I just put in here is called onion paper, or you can also use regular kitchen parchment paper. It's excellent to keep your hand not in contact with your composition, because you don't want your natural oils to mix with your medium, and you don't want to smudge anything, all your hard work you've been doing, and this does a good job with that. So now, as I say, I'm deepening the contrast, I'm deepening the darks to create more of a 3D, three-dimensional effect. And you can see clearly what are the parts that I'm actually darkening, are the parts that have the folds. These are the parts that are going to be furthest, the furthest from the light source. That is like, in this case, since we're talking about a cloth cover that she has on her head, it's very easy to see, like, these are the different folds and, the different ways that it's put together. And it's really cool when you start building up on it and how realistic it starts to look. You can start seeing a pattern of how I work. First, I lay the dark values from the pencil or the charcoal stick, in this case pencil because it's like smaller areas. And then I take my flat brush and I smoke it out to make it look smooth. And as you can see, I am just alternating between these two tools as well as the Monozero eraser. And this is the one that is going to start giving you that beautiful highlight effect, and we're not even applying the white charcoal yet. It's important to follow these steps and to use this type of tool to create that effect. There we go. Now we're going to start using our white charcoal general pencil. This is what will give the final touch of the final highlight. That smooth, beautiful 3D effect that you want to achieve. Now we're using the 4 tools all together. I use the brush just to smooth out things so they don't look too like angled. You want the whole thing to kind of come together smoothly as a composition as well, without losing the independence from each part that you have worked so hard on. And as you could see, I just used also a tortillion. That's something that it follows like the same principle and function of the brush, but for much smaller areas and for a much smoother finish. We're just smoothing out the surface right there, not really applying any more material. Now in a further close-up, you can actually see that I applied whites even more. Now we're at the stage where we're working on emphasizing the contrasts. We're correcting the little areas that need a little bit more work. We're giving the composition that beautiful marble, old marble texture. I'm also using a Q-tip, that is another tool to achieve a smoother finish. It all depends on what's the size of the area that you want to work on. And so we keep doing that, and then I keep alternating between the different tools. As you can see, I've already worked on the front part of the medium, like those two loops that it makes right by her face. I worked on that to make it look more realistic. Now we're applying more white to deepen that contrast of white lights and darks. This is always my favorite part because it's after all that hard work of laying all the foundation, this is where you actually get to have some fun and you give that magic to the composition as well. All right guys, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for all your support, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and any questions or any comments that you may have, please write them down below because that helps me get more ideas for future videos, and it also helps me help you better. And don't forget to check out my website, which is right here, www.juliettakhughes.com, and grab your free tutorial on how to draw a realistic looking portrait in pencils. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.